Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, my dear students. How are you? Everything okay? Here is Pakistan School Salala, subject General Science. I'm your science teacher, grade 4, and we are studying here, my dear students, unit 10, and that is heat. My dear students, here are our learning objectives, and that objectives are we will learn in these videos that heat. What is heat? What do you mean by heat? And how can we measure the heat? That we use the instrument that is called thermometer. And to make this thermometer, we use two types of scales that are called temperature scales. So my dear students, in these videos we will learn inshallah what is heat, what is thermometer, how does it work, and what are two temperature scales. My dear students, here is heat. What is heat, my dear student? What do you mean by heat? Yes, think. Yes, when molecules move fast, they produce heat. So my dear students, all things are made up of tiny particles, and that particles are called atoms. And my dear students, the group of atoms are called molecules. And when these molecules move fast, they produce heat. So molecules are always in moving condition. So when the molecule move fast, they produce heat. For example, when we rub our hands together, they become hot and produce heat. My dear students, there are different type of sources of heat as well. As my dear students, the big source of heat is sun. So sun provides us a lot amount of heat. My dear students, you can see here the example of producing heat by rubbing hand. So by rubbing hands produce heat. So my dear students, when we rub our hands together, they become hot, and the rubbing make the molecules move faster. My dear students, the movement of these molecules in our hand when we rub, they produce heat. So many people sitting in a small room also produce a lot of heat. So my dear students, this all rubbing material is made up of tiny particles that is called atoms, and a group of atoms are called molecules. And when we rub our hands, the molecules of these hands are move fast, and when they move fast, they produce heat. My dear students, we can also perform an experiment with the cold, warm, and hot water. So my dear students, take 3 bowls. In one bowl, take cold water. In the second bowl, take warm water. In the third bowl, take hot water. And my dear students, put very cold water in one, warm water in another container, and cold water in the first one. So my dear students, dip one hand in the hot water and the other in the cold water for a minute. Now dip both hands in the warm water. What do you notice? Yes, my dear students, the warm water feels hot to the hand that was in the cold water earlier, while the same water feels cold to the hand that was in hot water. So why and how this happened, my dear students? Only due to the difference of heat and cold water, because cold water has less heat as compared to hot water or warm water. So warm water has less heat as compared to hot water. So my dear students, all things are made up of tiny particles, and that particles are called atoms, and group of atoms are called molecules. So my dear students, it means the molecules of cold water move slowly as compared to warm water, and the molecules of the warm water move more fast as compared to cold water, and less fast as compared to hot water. And my dear students, in the hot water, in the third bowl, the molecule move fast. So the movement of molecule in the hot water is the fastest as compared to warm water and cold water. So my dear students, the molecule movement, that is called heat. So that's why hot water is more hot as compared to warm water, and warm water is hot as compared to cold water. So my dear students, you can do this activity at home as well. My dear students, here is the thermometer. What is a thermometer? A thermometer is an instrument used to find out the temperature. So my dear student, we use an instrument called thermometer to find out the temperature of something. So my dear students, temperature is a measure which tells us how hot or cold something is. A thermometer, you can see in this picture, my dear students, a thermometer is made up of a thin glass tube with a bulb at the one end. So you can see here, this is a bulb at one end, and this bulb has mercury in it. So mercury is present in one end, and that end is called a bulb. So when the bulb is dipped in a glass of warm water, the mercury starts to rise in the tube. So you can see here, my dear students, a thin tube that contains the mercury, and when this bulb is dipped in a glass of warm water, the mercury rises in the tube. When the bulb is dipped in a glass of cold water, the mercury falls. So my dear students, in this way, the mercury rises when the bulb is dipped in a hot object, and when we dip this mercury bulb into a cold object, the mercury falls. My dear students, you can see here the temperature scale. My dear students, in our daily life we usually use two types of scales. One is Celsius scale and second is Fahrenheit scale. So my dear students, the glass tube of a thermometer has marking on it, and this marking is called temperature scale. The level of the mercury on the scale shows the temperature in degree. So my dear student, you can see here there are two types of temperature scale. One is centigrade scale and other is Fahrenheit scale. In centigrade scale there is a different marking as compared to Fahrenheit scale. So my dear students, two types of scale is used in our daily life. That is, one is Celsius scale, or you can say centigrade scale, and other is Fahrenheit scale.